Anybody?
Happy New Month.
Anybody is going to build a card for us. Who is
Yeah,
the beloved? Okay, Oyebola, you want to say something?
yeah, I want to say something.
All right, please go
Uh,
ahead.
Good evening, everyone.
Good
For
evening.
me,
Few couple of minutes leading us on how to look really good online. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's invite to the podium today our dear Mr. Samuel O. Adeyemi for the session on digital branding. Thank you so much. Welcome, Mr. Sam. Can we just give a clap? You can show an emoji, you can unmute and clap literally for him. All right, welcome, Mr.
Thank you so
Sam.
much, man.
All
Thank you,
right.
sir. Thank you, sir. Um, how come I'm not seeing the where to share my screen again?
Welcome,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. All right. So, please, I would like to share my screen before I do that. I hope you can all see my screen.
Not yet.
yeah,
Okay. But you can see it now.
Not yet, sir.
You still can't see my screen.
yes.
No, sir.
Okay.
There's an audio playing in the background, and it's very loud.
Pastor, please, can you check whether your this thing is still on? Is anyone still hearing any audio?
I've stopped.
Yeah, there is no audio playing.
Can't hear any audio, sir.
Okay. I believe you should be seeing my screen now.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, we can see it now.
Yes, we can see it now.
Okay. All right. So thank you everyone. Thank you everyone. And thank you, Pastor, for this opportunity. Thank you so much. And I appreciate everyone for coming on this call this evening after I'm sure a lot of us have gone for Owambe, even sleeping. Because sleeping is even a work. Oh. Sleeping is work on it. Because, I used to tell people that, when you tell people that you are busy, it's not like you are just working, even sleeping, just putting sleeping on your schedule. It's supposed to also be on your calendar as well, especially if you are in a state like Lagos where we have so many things happening. So, and for everyone that has spoken, yes, thank you everyone for, putting to work all the things that Pastor have taught us since last week. Pastor have laid the groundwork, and I think I'll just build on it. He has done a lot, and I'm happy that we start implementing it immediately. For the last person that spoke, Mr. Tosin Oladipo, you are not alone. You say you work in an agency. If you look at a lot of people that are actually even in the PR communication space, we do a lot for people, but when it comes to ourselves, it's like physician and heal thyself. We do. It's not. I'm just trying to tell you that it's not limited to you. Most of the people that I know in the com space, they don't promote themselves. They will rather do it for clients, exert their energy, everything, their strength to clients. But when it comes to their own PR, we don't normally do it. We just like, well, just leave it. Let's just keep doing for clients. So you are not alone. A lot of big guys in the industry that own big agents, they don't promote themselves. They have other ways of promoting themselves, but for them to do, the stuff that they do for other clients, they may not be able to. They may not want to do it. All right. So before I start, I would like to give you a copy of my book to the first person that came in to the call. I think her name is Sarah. Let me see. I wrote it down. Sarah Omolola.
Omolola.
Yes.
Sarah Omolola.
Yes. So you've won yourself a copy of my book. So I will, if you are coming to church tomorrow doing our review meeting, if you can just, beckon on me, I will give you a copy of my book. So you are the first person that, entered the call. All right, so let me show my screen. All right, let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Yes,
Okay.
we can.
All right, so again, thank you for joining us, and thank you, Pastor, again for this opportunity. So Pastor have laid the groundwork. In fact, he has done almost all the work with that 2-hour session last week. It was, a great session, and I wouldn't want to just repeat some of those things that he has said, but he has, done a great work with the introduction, the ideas, the strategy, and I'm seeing that some of us have started implementing those ideas. So tonight we are going to look at digital personal branding, how to tell your story with purpose and style. So because there is a way you can tell your story that can really, really get the desired results. There is a way you can tell your story that you not get the desired results. And I'm going to giving you the secrets to how that is done. For us women, we are wired for stories. Stories evokes emotion, build trust, and inspire action. And that is what telling story is about. When you tell story with purpose and style. Oh, okay, sorry. So let me start from there. Your personal brand is what people say about you. So let's start with personal branding. It's more than your job title. It's what people think and what people, what people think when your name rings in people's mind, what comes to their mind. And it's about the kind of content that you put out. It's about the way you've branded yourself on different digital platforms. So in this digital age, personal branding isn't optional. It is strategic. It is important. It is the way to go. If you don't brand yourself in this digital age, you will be lost in the crowd. You will just be among everybody that is just talking and speaking, just like the Tower of Babel. What we have today on digital space, like the Tower of Babel, everybody is talking, but few people are listening. Few people are, understanding one another. So, but if you are able to brand yourself, you will stand out and your content would reach the desired audience. So we humans, we are wired for stories because stories evokes emotion, it builds trust and inspire action. So I'm going to be teaching you how to coin the stories that touches the heart, stories that evoke emotion, stories that build trust, and stories that inspire action. Your story builds authenticity and differentiates you from others. Like what I've said, there are so many people writing, there are so many people speaking, but you need to know how to differentiate yourself. And this is through digital storytelling. And I'll be telling you how to build those content pillars so that you can be able to differentiate yourself, whether it's through text, whether it's through video, whether it's through any other means, audio, online. You need to be able to evoke emotion. And that is the way for you to be able to attract attention. And let me tell you a secret. We humans, we don't make logical decision when it comes to buying process. When we are buying, whether you are buying anything or whether you are voting in an election, we don't make rational decisions. We don't make logical decisions. Our decisions are always based on emotion. We may not like to accept it, but that's the fact. So if you look at, most of the presidential candidates that you believe they are the best, when you put your microscope on them and you try to drill down, you will believe that they are not the best. But because we just feel that, oh, this is the person I want, there is nothing anybody can say. That's the person you will vote for. As people are shouting that, oh, they don't like Donald Trump, there are people that likes him to anything. Their decision is not based on logic. Their decision is based on emotion. So how can you as well in your little corner, how can you build a story? How can you coin a story that can make them to open their wallets and patronize you. I know we have this saying that, don't give me stories that touch the heart. But the fact is that we always hear stories that touch the heart, and we open our wallets, we do transfer, whenever we hear stories that touch the heart. We don't want to accept it, but the fact is that we hear stories that touches the heart almost every day, and we open our wallets, we do transfer. So now, as a business person, as a career person, how do you tell stories that touches the heart? And that is where the framework for personal brand storytelling comes in. First and foremost, you first need to ask yourself, where are you coming from? What sparked your journey in what's the kind of stories you want to tell? I would like to commend some of the content I've been seeing as well on the group. A lot of people have been telling stories, and that is the way to go. Stories works. Stories, stories convert. When you tell your stories, tell your life stories, tell the stories of your life, what you've been able to experience, it works. So how do you build it? How do you build that framework and then be able to adequately tell your brand story, your personal brand story, and your company's brand story? You first need to look at origin, the why. Why did you start that business? What happened? Why did you start that business? What happened? Were you, were you so inspired by something? Did you experience a loss in your life? And then based on that, you now want to be able to make sure that other people are not going through that route again. Are you, are you paying when you see students fail exam? And then based on that, you want to be, that sparks something inside you to say, no, we can do better. And then you do what? You, 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 you start your business. So when you tell that story, when you go back in time, that when did this thing happen? When did I make up my mind that I'm going to do this thing? That is the origin. And then what are the struggles you experience and the growth that you've experienced, the how? What are the challenges that have shaped your expertise? What are the different challenges that you've been able to overcome on your way up? And of course, what are the mission, the what now? What are you solving today and why does it matter? These are the three acts of a personal brand story that you need to implement whenever you are writing your brand story. So this is going to be an hands-on class. So for example, I know this may look so far-fetched, but these are the kind of stories that touches people's heart on social media. People may say, oh, the guy is lying. The guy is just like, I think it was this popular, I will not mention his name. There is this popular, I'm sure most of us know him, that is into real estate and price is mentorship, digital mentorship in thousands of dollars. A lot of people are saying, oh no, he's trying to rip people off, he's fraudulent, he's blah, blah, blah. But the fact is that the story that he has been, using to sell those mentorship has been working. If it's not working, he will not be where he is today. Whenever you hear him speak, he will tell you how he started his business, with is it this $10,000 now? I mean 10,000 naira now with bulk SMS business, and then he diversifies into real estate, and now he's traveling all around the world. It will show you go to, there was a time he went to one of his former office in Ogba, where he started from one down building like that, and he showed that video. He showed how he started, and then how he now, have an idea. He went into the bush and he bought a land in the bush, and then he started land banking, and from there he started to, and then he's now encouraging you Now bring your 1 million naira, bring your 10 million naira, come and buy land in one bush in Songwater, in one bush, 2 hours drive away from Canaan land in Ota, or somewhere in Ekpe that is even far away from civilization. But he's been able to build something. He will tell you that this is what he did, when he was doing his business, his bulk SMS business. And then somebody introduced him to come and buy land in a very bushy area, and then he started land banking. That story that he has been able to push out has been able to, bring in more business to him. So this example is not far-fetched. It's what is happening on digital platform. We are not advocating that you should lie, but I can tell you that when you look back in your life, you look back in your stories, there are things like this that you can use to be able to influence people to purchase your story. So, to purchase your service, your product, or your service. So, for example, starting my business is 1 naira in January 2025. And in 3 months, in March 2025, you can say, oh, I've been able to make this so amount of money. So my journey is a journey of resilience and determination. Now, if you can join my course, I can teach you how you can be able to do this, how you can be able to replicate this success. So those are the kind of personal brand stories that touches the heart. I don't know why I keep using that. That just came to my mind this afternoon when I was praying for it. Like, let me just keep using these words, stories that touches the heart, because I know a lot of us use it to say it. I don't want to hear stories that touches the heart, but these are stories that touches the heart, are stories that can convert. They are stories that can bring money out of the pocket of your customers, of your target audience. So what are the elements of a compelling brand stories? What makes your story magnetic? So when you are posting online, what do you think will make people to pause and read your story? What do you think can make them want to listen to you? Number one, it must be relatable. You need to show your human side. You need to show your human side. What does that mean? Show that you are a human being, not, why are most of us attracted to Pastor Sam? It's because he shows his human side. He shows his struggles. He shows his victories. He didn't just show himself as a Superman. He shows the way how he has been able to, evolve over time. How, when you meet his mentor and some of the things that he says to his mentor, and then his mentor will just shut it down like, why are you thinking this way? He's not ashamed to share those kind of stories. And those are the things that attract us to him, because we see him as real. So when you start sharing your real stories, your struggles, and now you've been able to overcome those struggles, and there's a caveat. When you share your struggles, show how you've been able to overcome those struggles. Because most times they don't want to be in the same, especially if you want to be a thought leader, they don't want to be in the same boat as you, but they want to know that you've gone through this process before, that you've been able to do this and be able to overcome this, and then you can then help me to also overcome it as well. So that is where the thought leadership comes in. So you need to show your human side, show stories that people can relate with, show stories that can make people to listen to you, share stories that can, that people can listen to. Be specific, share real moments and not vague cliches. Vague cliches. If you think it, you can make it. So that's if you can think it, you can make it. Can you break it down? Can you be specific? So if I think it, you yourself, have you ever think it and make it? So how did you think about it and then you make it? Share that story with them. That is how people can be warm to you, not just, just dropping those quotes and vague quotes. You have to be specific. How are you able to do it? Not just reading a book and then coming out to now regurgitate it. No, they want to hear it. They want to see how you've been able to implement those ideas, those things that you are sharing. Then align your story with your values and your goals, with your business goals, with your life goals. Make sure that your story aligns with it. And of course, evolving. Let your story grow with your journey. Let your story grow with your journey. That is how to be able to say a story that can touch the hearts. Now, I said this is going to be very hands-on class. This is another idea. Write a 3-line brand story using I was. So you can say, oh, I was born into into a family of 5. We are not born with a silver spoon. We were not blah, 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 blah. Then I became this, didn't now. I am this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm that. Those kind of, building block. I saw the write-up of our district pastor, Mr. Samuel, on LinkedIn during the week. How he talked about how he's passionate about teaching people mathematics, and how he's been able to help a lot of young people now to be able to master mathematics. Those are the kind of stories, not just, just saying, oh, I can teach you mathematics. Come and meet me. I can, I have group of teachers that can teach. No, 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 no. He was able to give stories that are relatable. He was able to give us stories that are relatable, stories that people can relate with. And then this is what happened. Students, why students are not passing mathematics, why they don't find mathematics interesting. It could be the result, maybe the teacher and all the blah, 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 blah. And then he's able to build it logically and then be able to pass across the message that he wants to pass across. So let your brand story be relatable, let it be specific, let it align with your values and your goals, and let it evolve, not just, stay where you are. I mentioned earlier on, like, okay, once I was blind, then what happened? It must evolve into now I can see, not now I was blind and then you remain a blind person. You are not going to influence anybody with that. Your story must evolve. Excuse me. I was blind, now I can see. How do you define your content pillars? What should you be known for? And that is what personal branding is about. So these are the strategic topics you need to constantly talk about. Why do they matter? You need to keep your messaging focused. So if you want to build personal branding online, you make sure that your content is focused. So it's not today you are talking about politics, tomorrow you are talking about entertainment, next you are talking about VDM, and then please, I can hear an echo. Somebody's is on. Please, can you unmute yourself, please? Okay. Please, are you still seeing my screen?
Yes,
Yes.
you can see.
Okay. All right. So your content must be consistent. So I'm not saying that you should just you should not, talk about other things. But if you really want to build thought leadership, you want to build personal branding, you want people to know you for a particular thing, you must be disciplined to stick to a topic regularly. So it's not like you won't talk about all those things that I mentioned if you want to talk about it, but you just have to be consistent. I can assure you that it's not easy because social media, there is so many things happening. There is so many things that is calling for your attention. You just want to say something. But if you really want to build a thought leadership on a particular topic, make sure that at least you are speaking about that thing almost like 70%. Another thing, you know, other this thing. There was a time I was, on social media, I talk about almost everything. I talk about Tinubu, I talk about Buhari, I talk about, almost everybody. So, but, I had to caution myself, like, okay, can you just, if you don't have anything to say, just keep quiet. But I know at times I still fall for that, temptation that I will still post whatever I want to, as it comes to my, I still want to post it. I still want to, talk about Buhari, talk about Jonathan, talk about blah, 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 and all that. And then I leave what I should be promoting and I leave it behind. So you need to be disciplined so that your people can know you for a particular thing. So keep your messaging focused because it will help your audience to associate you with specific expertise. So some people might now ask, so what if I have two businesses? Well, you may create different pages for them, or if you are not able to, I think that question was asked last week, if you are able to, build a kind of okay, so for instance, now if you are a financial investment expert, so for an investment expert, you can say something about real estate, you can say something about the capital market, you can say something about Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and all that. But it still, comes under the umbrella of financial expertise. So let me also bring it home. We all know our pastor, Pastor Madiemi. We know him for two things. We know him for success and we know him for leadership. But it doesn't mean that he doesn't teaches about heaven and earth, it doesn't teach about hell, it doesn't teaches about marriage, it doesn't teach about other things. Of course, it teaches about all that. But if you see the majority of his content, majority of what he speaks about is about success and leadership. Even if you look at the the focus of what, even if he's teaching about family, there is a way he will still bring it to leadership. You understand? That is how you build a thought leadership. That's how you build personal branding. That's how people know you for that particular thing. There is a way you can still bring it back to your area of expertise. And I think there was a time he was talking about, I think I'm trying to remember then, I think it was a few years ago, he said they invited him somewhere and then he was told to preach about something, I think maybe it was about heaven or hell or something like that. And then you still find a way of bringing it back to success and leadership. It's still, that's the way of still building that, area where it's known for. So you need to be consistent in your messaging. So these are the steps to define yours. What do you want to be known for? What do your audience care about? You only need to take note of that. The audience you are talking to, what do they care about? What do they want to hear is very important. What do they want to hear? What do they care about? What topics align with your goals or your niche? That's how to define what you need to be talking about. You need to ask yourself, what do you want to be known for? And then what the audience care about? What topics align with your goals and your niche? Like I mentioned, the temptation is for us when you go online to talk about anything, everything that is happening. But you just need to be able to discipline yourself to be able to stay on what you want to be known for. So, for example, I've given an example of somebody I've given an example of a financial investment, an investment expert. This is an example for a career coach. So if you are a career coach, you can talk about career growth tips. You can talk about how people can brand themselves on LinkedIn, because if you really want to advance your career, you need to brand yourself on LinkedIn. You need to be on LinkedIn. One of the things that spoke earlier on was saying that he didn't get a lot of engagement on LinkedIn because that's not where he's been posting. So let me tell you something. The fact that you're not getting engagement does not mean you should stop. And that's what I also need to tell everyone on this call. There are a lot of times when you will not get engagement. There are a lot of times you will not get likes or share or people liking your post. I can assure you that it can be discouraging. It will even discourage you. But you need to now encourage yourself in the Lord, just like David, and keep posting. You will be shocked that a lot of people, the post that you think nobody likes, people are saying it. People are just too lazy to like it. So just keep showing up, keep posting. You'll be shocked that a lot of people will have read it. You'll be shocked. You'll just think somebody wants like, I like what you posted on social media last time. And then you'll be wondering, and you didn't like my post. And you thought that nobody liked, I mean, nobody saw your post. So keep posting. People are reading your content. So we're talking about content examples for a career coach that wants to stay on topic. You talk about personal development, and of course, talk about your client success stories. So if you've been able to coach somebody, how has that person been able to be a successful person in their career or in their business? So this is the content. You can now then use this for your own area of expertise. This is not for everybody. This is for a career coach. Now, how do you balance your content? Use the 70-20-10 rule of content. So what does that mean? So it's not every time you go online and the only thing you are saying is come and buy, come and buy, come and buy. No. No, no, no. It's not every time. There is what is called, I think Pastor talked about it last week, content marketing. Content marketing, it's about just giving out free advice. Just give it out. Free advice, free content, sharing your expertise. Just keep sharing it. 70% value-driven, educational, and informative content. So back to if you are teaching, you are an home teacher that teaches, pupils on how they can, pass their exam or, a particular this thing. You keep writing about it, keep talking about, strategies, how you can, how you can score straight A's in your exam. You just keep writing it. It's not, you don't wait until when they call you to come and speak about it. That's when you write about it. Content that are valuable. And then 20% personal stories and behind the scenes. So the value-driven educational content as well, the strategy is also about making it emotional, writing it in such a way that it can attract people's attention. And then 10% is direct promotion or selling. So if you have 10 contents online, 10% of that content, which is one, one of 9 contents, will be promotional or about selling. So what does that mean? About 80 to 70% would be educational, value-driven, and informative content. You can see that you have a lot of work to do. So, but the beauty of it is that when people are thinking about that area of expertise, or they need somebody to come and talk about it, they need somebody that they want to engage their services, they will call on you. They will call on you because you will be the one that will come to their mind. And let me also give you a secret. In this age and time, no matter how much you teach people about a particular topic, when it's time for them to implement that thing, especially if your target is the person that really needs that thing, and that person has the resources, I can assure you, when it's time to implement that ideas, that strategy that you've been sharing, that person will call you. That is the way people that is the way people are. We don't want to stress ourselves. We want to push everything to the experts. We just want the expert to just take it up. You just take it up. They will. Do you know how much information, how much expertise is on YouTube? But people will still go to the experts and pay the experts to do it for them because people are busy. People have other things they are doing. The people that will really pay for your services, the kind of people that we are praying to God for, those people, they don't have time to go on YouTube and start to go step by step on how to bake cake. They don't have that time. They will now sit down in front of their screen, and then they will go to the market, they will go and buy flour, buy sugar, and then they will now be mixing it. They don't have that time. But when they need cake, because you've been sharing ideas, you've been sharing experiences on how to bake cake on YouTube, online, everything. When is that time for them to build 10 stories of cake? They will come and meet you. That is how it works. So don't get discouraged and say, "Oh, I'm sharing free ideas online." People may not call me because I'm already sharing it with them. No, don't see it that way. And that is why you need to take this very seriously. Now, why do you need to brand? If you don't brand, we will not, I don't want to use this word, DIE, we will not die in Jesus' name. So if you don't brand, your organizations, your products will not die in Jesus' name. So that's why so you need to look the parts because you have to build recognition. So how do you make your brand memorable? Remember, we are talking about two things that are related. We are talking about how to build content, and then we're also talking about how to build a brand identity. So if you want to build a brand identity, you need a color palette. What color do you want to use in terms of maybe if you need a logo or you want to build a website, your letterhead, your colors has to be consistent. You need to choose a color, you need to choose a font, you need to choose the kind of pictures that you want. And then if you are building a business, you need a logo that is attractive or the logo that speaks to what you do. If you are just starting out, you may not get the services of a professional for now. If you don't have the money, you can go on Canva, can easily, do design. And then, this has to be your designs So we are talking about the kind of images, the kind of that will be accompanying your content. So imagine if you are writing newsletters, you have, because beyond social media, there are other channels where your content can go out from. You need to be able to brand those platforms so that your color can be consistent. LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, your email signature, your website. In fact, making your content memorable also could even be about how you sign off your content. You can make it memorable. The kind of content that you are writing, you can make it memorable. The way you sign off your content, the way you sign off your email signature. So does your look match your message? So those kind of content that you send out, does your design evoke your values, your letterheads, those proposals that you are sending out, those points proposals that you are sending out? Do you just, copy and paste and then without proper formatting? Are your images professional? Are they authentic? Do your colors and fonts feel intentional? I know this is getting more advanced, but, just at your level, just make sure that it looks professional. It doesn't look tacky. Just make it look professional. Because at times, not every time that you may be passing your message across on social media. You may be writing letters and then you are sending it out. Attachments, emails attachments. What kind of how does it look like? You understand? How does your attachment look like? The kind of PDF. There are times it's better when you are sending a lot of attachments, except especially if you don't want people to edit it. If you don't want people to edit it, make it PDF. It would be able to allow your text to look very well, to come out very well. So these are the mistakes to avoid. Don't let all this to kill your brand. Inconsistency across platforms. If you are not consistent across platforms, on platform A, you are saying this, on platform B, you are saying the other thing. And then on platform C, you are saying other things. And one of the ways you can easily, do this, you can repurpose your content. The content that you put on LinkedIn, you can repurpose it for Facebook. The content that you have on Facebook, you can repurpose it for Twitter and other platforms. You can repurpose it. Being too broad or trying to please everyone. So trying to please everyone means that you want to get involved in every conversation on social media. If you get involved in every conversation on social media, you are trying to please everyone. Avoid that mistake. Don't be too broad. Stay on topic. Don't try to please everyone. Ignoring storytelling. Don't ignore storytelling while you are posting your content. Tell your story. People like stories. People like stories. I've said it before. I can't say enough of it. People like stories. People like to hear stories. Your story, your life story, your family stories, story about your life, especially stories about how you've been able to overcome, life challenges. Let me share this with you. Try this on social media. Just post an ordinary content this week, and then the next week, talk about how you love your spouse, how your spouse has been a wonderful person, blah, blah, blah. You will see that more people would like to, like that content about you praising your spouse because it's emotional. it makes people connect. People are connected to it. You understand? So people come online. People don't really come online just to come and tax their brain. They come online to just come and have fun. They come online to be entertained. They come online to come and enjoy themselves. And when you try to give it to them, when you give them the kind of stories they are looking for, they will follow you. They will like you. Yes, you can copy others, but you can also be authentic. And now this is where storytelling comes in. Other content that you've seen online, you can repurpose it for yourself by adding your own unique element to it. And this is where the authentic part comes in. Adding your own unique element to it. Adding your own stories to it. And that is where people will now listen to you. So if you just copy and paste without, editing it a bit, adding your own stories to it, you will not get the kind of results you are looking for. And of course, always ensure that your content has call to action and the next step for your audience. Call to action could be, click on this link, sign up for my free lesson, sign up to purchase these products. Next steps. Oh, watch out for my next content next week. Call to action. There must always be a call to action or a very strong conclusion in your content and the next step for your audience. Now, this is wrapping it up. This is your digital branding tool kit. This summarizes everything that I've talked about. Your brand story, unique content pillars, unique visual identity, and of course, I didn't talk about this, your bio and your elevator pitch. It's very, very important. So elevator pitch means that, so for instance, now if you find yourself on the same lift with, say, Dangote, because an average elevator ride is less than 15 to 20 seconds, depending on depending on how long the floor is where you are going to, but an average of 10 to 15 seconds. So imagine you are stuck on the same elevator with Dangote and you want to promote your product and services to him, and you want to get a response, you want to get a commitment, or you want to get an appointment with him in his office. Within that 15 seconds, within that 10 seconds, how can you make impression in his mind for you to get the next meeting with him? That is the elevator pitch. That elevator pitch has to be part of you to the extent that if I woke you up by 2 a.m., you should be able to tell me in 1 second, in 1 sentence, 2 sentences, what you do and how it can benefit me. The fact is that every consumer is selfish. And every person that you see on planet Earth needs something. Everybody, there is nobody that has it all figured out. Everybody still needs something. So how are you able to, pitch your service within that 15 seconds that can attract attention? It's part of your personal branding. And the fact is that as you go along in life, as you attend events, as you go, move from places to places, you should be able to have the courage to promote your business. So are you able, within that 15 seconds, how are you able to promote it in such a way that I will be winning to say, come and meet me in my office, or give me your account number, let me promote, let me buy your product and services. Maybe we should do this in the next 5 minutes before I round off. Who can give me an elevator pitch of their services? You can unmute, please. I want you to give me an elevator pitch. So you are on an elevator with Dangote or Bill Gates in 15 seconds. How can you convince that person? How can you convince Dangote to give you an appointment or to purchase your services? You can unmute, please. Hello? No
Okay,
one?
so
Okay.
I want to try.
Yes, please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so let's say I meet Dangote and I know this is what I'm going to say. So I will say I know that you intend to deploy new logistics plan for distribution across the country, and I know that managing this logistics can be very tedious. In my company, we do product development that can track all your trucks, that can manage all your drivers, and in real time. So if you are looking to develop a technology that can track real time all your distribution and ensure that procurement and uh, just to ensure that your distribution is well managed and is well organized, you can look to us to build a product that can work for that.
Yeah, thank you so much. Awesome. So, he's been able to speak to Dangote's pain points because at this point now, Dangote is, they are trying to, I think they are trying to do something about distributing their petroleum products. And that is why they're having issues with independent marketers. So he wants to start doing distribution by himself. And then now he has somebody that he met on the elevation within 10 seconds. He has given this solution. I'm sure you're going to get a second call. You're going to get an appointment. So any other person? Any other person? Elevator pitch. Elevator pitch. So if you met somebody today, you don't know what you can tell the person that can make the person, give you an appointment. So I need one more person, please. Just try, just do something, just say something. Just say something. We'll find it together. We are here to learn. Nobody, all of us are still figuring things out. So we are here to learn. We'll help you to figure it out. Just one more person. Anyone? So no one is willing to volunteer and
Okay, let me give it a try.
Okay.
Okay, so I was a bit reluctant because I might not have anything to tell Dangote. But okay. So my name is Sarah and I coach and train about mindset. I believe that everyone can live a life, an optimal life, and fulfill their goals and their aspirations. I've noticed that in our country, we are taught to think little about ourselves. The mindset we grow up with is what limits us as Nigerians and Africans, and generally people in the developing world. So I believe with a change of mindset, we'll be able to transform our lives and reach higher heights, better heights, and um, will not bow or stoop to any other person, but will stand tall in our gifts and our callings. And I really like to talk to young people about it, because if we can capture people in their youth and help them have healthy self-esteem and good mindset, we would we'll become better for it as a nation. Okay, that's just
All
what.
right. All right. Thank you, Madam Sarah. So, a point of correction, please.
Yes, sir.
You don't have you don't have something to sell to Dangote. Who says that cannot be sold to Dangote? Dangote staff. He has staff. He has Dangote Foundation.
Okay.
This can be sold. This can be done on the platform of Dangote Foundation. Dangote Foundation
Okay.
can sponsor this, your initiative, to secondary schools across Nigeria. You see why? You see how we are limiting ourselves. You can see it now. So when you are coining your I intentionally don't want to make us to just, I intentionally use Dangote so that you can broaden your mind and expand your mind. So, like I said, everybody needs, there is nobody that does not need something. There is nobody that does not need something. Even Dangote needs Bill Gates for something, not for money, no. It's not for money. It's for something. It needs Bill Gates for something. And it's not the platform for where I can say that, but there was this thing that Dangote was, facing on the international scene and blah, blah, blah. And then he has to get some of his billionaire guys, not money, no, but in terms of influence and reach, people that has more leg than him on the international scene, that was able to do it for him. So everybody, everybody has a need. Bill Gates has a need. Donald Trump has a need. So you need to be able to now refine your expertise, refine what you are offering, so that people can see how they can find themselves inside of it. If you don't know where to start, just look at Maslow hierarchy of needs. So if you met somebody that is in the survival stage, and you want to offer your service to that person, how do you coin it? Somebody that is at the level of self-sufficiency, at Dangote level and all that. He wants to replicate himself. He wants to make sure that, people see him as a philanthropist. And that's what he's doing with, Dangote Foundation, saying that, oh, they are giving out their wealth and all that. You understand? So you can, your elevator pitch should not be more than 2, 3, 4 sentences, while your bio can, be a lot. So that your bio, because you also need that bio, especially when you are writing on your social media, because every social media platforms have a place where you need to update your bio, your profile. That is also very important. You need to be able to coin it, because most times when you've written a very good content, people go on your bio to go and read about you. Oh, who is this person? They go there, they read about you. And of course, also, I've not mentioned this, your profile picture as well matters a lot. The kind of picture that people see, it matters a lot. It has to be able
I
to
hope they will send the recording now. But it's like
Omo Yemi, can you mute yourself, please? Omo Yemi, let me try and mute you. Mute her. Okay, I think she has muted. All right, so, okay, I was talking about bio and your profile picture. It has to be able to convey your message adequately. Because of our time, let me quickly round off. So, if you want to be able to, do some, branding, you can use Canva to, build your brand identity, logo, and all those things, color that you need that will be associated with you. I don't want to go deep into this because we need to focus on the one that you can start implementing and start to use now. And then, of course, you need to ensure that your presence on key platforms, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and all those platforms. If you are not on LinkedIn, please be on LinkedIn, especially if you are selling professional services. If you are still maybe doing FMGC, fast moving consumer goods, you have to be on Facebook, on Instagram, you have to be on those platforms. But mostly if you are a career person or you're a professional, LinkedIn is a must. It's a must. On LinkedIn, you can, there are a lot of opportunities that are on LinkedIn. There are just too much on LinkedIn. Now, these are your next steps. Write or refine your personal brand stories. So this week, as you start to post content this week, try to refine your personal brand stories. Choose 3 content pillars and brainstorm 10 post ideas that you're going to post this week. Design one visual template or color style that you can stick with. This is not compulsory, but you may decide to do it. It's not compulsory because you may get stuck, because you may say, oh, because of design and all that. But you can just leave that. Share your first story-driven post this week. A lot of us has been doing it, but we can do better. We can build on what we've already done as we move into this next week. Thank you so much. Question, please.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so on the slide, you're talking about brand story.
Yes.
You were saying the template you gave is I can't remember it, but what the question I want to ask is, now if you're in a process whereby you have not yet reached that ideal point, so like I like to write and teach and talk about mindset, how we can transform our lives by transforming our mindset. So I'm in the process also because I'm learning, I'm reading, learning, trying things out, and I'm trying to teach it also. So how can I position myself since I'm still in the process? I have not reached that level where I can say, okay, I've hit the height I want to reach. I don't know if you understand my question. So
Yes,
how
I
can
do.
I position myself? Yeah.
Okay, so like what Pastor Ayo mentioned last week, God will not leave you without something. I've forgotten the way he said it. There is something that you can still use, which is you may not have have gotten to that level 10 over 10, but I'm sure that there is a story, there is a testimony in your life that you've been able to, that your mindset was shifted and you're able to, so another thing, I don't want us to fall into this temptation, thinking that a story is too small to share or is too minute, it will not attract people's attention. No story is too small to share. If David limits what he did in the wilderness, he will not face Goliath. Is that stone that he was throwing in the wilderness to kill those animals in the wilderness? That's the same stone he used to kill Goliath. So that's little victory that you've had in time past. Don't be ashamed to share that little stories, that little wins. God will not leave you without a testimony. God will not leave you without anything to build your life on. It's not possible. Look within. In fact, and then if you can't see, use the story of others that have been able to use that methodology, that mentor, that principle that you are sharing to advance their life. Pastor Sam was not, was not a billionaire before he started sharing about success and all that. And I'm sure then, Pastor Sam uses a lot of stories of other people that have been able to, be successful. He was using their stories. So, but it's better to use your own story. And that's why I'm sure that there is something that you've been able to overcome, I'm sure that is the reason why you're even passionate about it. It's good. Your decision to even share your somebody put on your progress, share your progress. You are not where you are, where you've been. I mean, you are not where you used to be. But I know you are not where you want to be. That's why you now think that you are not qualified now to start, So there is a place you've been before, and there is a place where you are now. Share it, share your progress. I hope that works for you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so let me also
Yeah.
add a bit to
Okay, sir.
that. Someone's typed in the chat from Mrs. Tunashe, says share your small wins, share your progress. And I think one of the things that those of us who are into personal development should also pay attention to is journaling. So one of the things that worked for me back then was that every day I try to write an article based on what goes on during the day and the lessons I could pick from from the experience. So I go out, I board a bus, I meet someone, we start a conversation, and then I reflect on my experience and then I draw principles. Usually I share like 3 principles from that experience. So you realize that if we pay attention and we reflect on every experience, there are things you can pick from it. So it's an ongoing thing. You will have big stories to share, but those little encounters. I remember one story I shared many years ago about, then I used to do like 3 to 5 kilometers every morning. I was running. So there was one morning I started out and then I just saw these guys. They were just running from nowhere. In my head, I wanted to pace up and catch up with them. But I didn't know that they were actually competing their own run. I was just starting, right? So, and then I formed a story out of it that when you meet different people on the road, don't think that you are going to the same destination. Some are about getting to the end. You are just starting. You don't need to run at the same pace. So something very, very insignificant, really. But because you are paying attention, you will always have a story to tell as long as you are engaging with human beings every day. All out of that experience, the good, the bad, the ugly, there is always a story we can bring out of it. Once you begin to pay attention, then you will see that you can never run out of stories. Never. That's my personal belief. You can never run out of stories. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Pastor Sam. Is it Mr. or Miss Shola?
Shalabomi.
Okay. Good evening, sirs. Thank you for the class this evening, and it's really impactful. So my question is that when you talked about meeting Dangote, and I have to give an elevator pitch in few seconds. For instance, what I do, I deal with Yoruba stuffs, and I've seen a need for it, and in fact, a lot of need for it. Now, I'm just wondering, that was why I couldn't even say anything when you said we should say an elevator pitch. So, how can I help, or how can I be of service to somebody like Bill Gates or Dangote, for example? Does that mean that whatever we are doing, we have to look for the seemingly catchy roles or the seemingly catchy functions that everybody would definitely need? For instance, I was thinking about the Yoruba thing that, okay, what will I tell Dangote? Or should, at that point in time, should I seize that opportunity and say, Dangote cannot make use of Yoruba. Let me think of something else that I do. Okay, I plan events. Or should I now change what I'm known for? Okay, I can also plan events. Let me talk to him about events. That's my question, sir. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Yes, I got your question. So I'll first start from the known to the unknown. The known is that for every product, every services, you have a target audience. That's number one. Every product, every services have a target audience. So Daystar has a target of Lagos Andy and Lagos Angie. It is very, is very focused on that demographic. But now, it doesn't mean now that we don't still have, people that are not within that age range that would still find Daystar helpful. You understand? So for that, for your services now, there is a target audience for it already. So the target audience for that is they are maybe Nigerians, Yoruba people in diaspora, Yoruba people, middle class Yorubas that are in Nigeria, because we have a lot of middle class that their children don't speak Yoruba, and then they want their children to speak Yoruba. Those people, those are your target audience. Now, back to the issue of Dangote. You met Dangote. Do you know also you can, this is where selling ice to the Eskimos now comes in. You understand? You can sell ice to the Eskimo by, telling Dangote, okay, Dangote has friends. You can be able to tell him that, okay, this is what you do, this is what you do. He may not find it really, really valuable at that point in time. But of course, since you say you have other things that he might find valuable, why not? Because the reality is that it's not everybody that will resonate, it's not everybody that will resonate with what you do. That's the fact. But for skill marketers, that one may be too advanced, but for skill marketers, they can sell ice to the Eskimos. A skill marketer can sell Yoruba language, teaching. A skill marketer can sell, can sell Yoruba language to Dangote, but is not your target audience, because he may not really find it useful. I'm not sure he will want to, tell his children to go and learn Yoruba language and all that. But if you discover that he doesn't speak Yoruba and he has a business in Yoruba land, why not? That's where research comes in. That's where research
So,
comes in.
but Samuel, can I quickly add a thought to that also?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
All right, so I think the essence of the elevator pitch basically is for one, as a creator or as a brand, to be so used to what you do that you can say it in as short time as possible. So the idea of if you meet Dangote does not mean literally you have to say it to Dangote. But even if you say it to Dangote, if you have eaten that thing, you will be able to say it so convincingly that Dangote will be interested to know more about what you do. That's basically what it is. So now, if you relate the Yoruba thing with national development, with developing our culture, our cultural values, with national development, if you can see it in that light, that you have realized that language shapes culture, and when people lose sight of their language, then they also lose sight of their culture. That's just for example. And that you've realized that there are a lot of lessons, valuable lessons that are involved in, embedded in the Yoruba language, that if the Yoruba people, Dangote does his business here in the West. So if someone like that, you can tell him what you do and how that thing impacts the culture and impart development. Even if he doesn't give you an appointment, you have registered something in his mind. You'll be shocked that he could be looking for you. And many of us feel somehow when Pastor Sam says he watches some comedians online, and you'll be like, hey, so out of your business, you still have time to follow Ajebo, to follow, you'll be shocked that these guys, he will look for you, and you never can tell where the conversation would happen one day, and they say, I need somebody. And I met one lady sometime ago. She said something about this. So you just never can tell. But the idea of the elevator pitch is that you are so sold out, you are so convinced in what you do that you can say it in as few seconds as possible. For virtually all of us here, you are in Daystar, you know the vision of Daystar. And that is the whole idea. What is your vision? What is your brand known for? Can you say it in 5 seconds, in 10 seconds, in 15 seconds? It doesn't mean that everybody that hears raising role models will come to Daystar. No. But at least you know what we stand for. You know who we are. I think that's the idea.
Thank you, sir. Nothing more to add. Pastor has really dealt with that. Yes, ma.
Thank you, sir.
Victoria, ma.
Yes, sir, it's fine.
Yes, ma. Yes, ma. Madam Victoria, your hand is up, ma.
It's on a very humorous note, like meeting Bill Gates and you want to say Yoruba culture. There's a whole like you can tell him, Yoruba language is very rich. It's spoken in some places, Brazil, and some places in the world. And most of these people, some of them are not educated, they don't understand English, and they would like to use Microsoft and its product. That if it's possible to design Microsoft product in such a way that it comes in Yoruba language for this set of people, I believe that's something that could fly.
Yes, ma. Thank you so much, ma, for that. Bamileri.
Thank you, sir. Good evening.
Yes, good evening, ma.
Okay, I just wanted to ask a question. You were talking about our profile picture
Of your brother, that
in our bio, aligning with our business. So I just wanted to confirm because prior
I'll
to
come
now,
there.
I heard coaches
They
saying,
I don't know if you want to
Sorry,
give me what make
I
you.
mistakenly unmute you, Madam Bamileri. Please mute yourself again. I wanted to unmute the person that was speaking, that was interrupting.
okay, sir. So I was talking about the profile picture that you were telling us on our social media handles in our bio. Okay, so you were saying that we have to ensure that our profile pictures to aligns with the business that we do. So for me, I have the logo on there, while some people will say you have to have your personal picture. So I just wanted to ask, which is appropriate, your personal picture or the company logo, your business logo?
So it depends on the page you are using. Are you using your personal page or you are using your company's page?
I'm using for IG, I'm using my company page, but for Facebook, I'm using my personal page.
So if a page is named after your company, so it's supposed to be your company's picture that should be there.
Okay.
It doesn't match having your company's XYZ Nigeria Limited, and then it's your picture that is there. It doesn't speak well because that's a corporate platform. It's a corporate account. So a corporate account has to have a corporate logo because that's the company's brand identity. That's the identity of that company. So for your personal Facebook page, it's you that you be there. But if you still want to go ahead to put your company's logo, but mostly if it's your personal page, because you'll be saying personal things plus corporate stuff there. So have your personal picture on your company's, on your personal page. But now your bio now has to now explain who you are and what you can offer. You
Okay.
understand?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, ma'am. Any other question before we call it a day? Any other question? All right, Pastor sir.
All right, thank you so much. Please, let's appreciate Mr. Samuel O. Adeyemi for that amazing session. Thank you so much. And I want to see our emojis. I want to see our calls. Let's say a big thank you to Mr. Sam. Right. Look really good, right? So